Welcome to the Commodities Dig. I'm Amy Hogan. Joining me today is Catherine McLeod-Seltzer, Chairman of Bear Creek Mining, a precious metals company with holdings in Peru. Catherine, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Amy. Pleasure to be here.
Now, recently there's been some issues with your Santa Ana project. Can you give our viewers an overview of what's going on there?
Sure. We, during a hotly contested election, had our license to operate removed because there was unrest in that area, civil unrest.
Right.
We've been working with the government at very high levels to get that license back. There have been some court cases which we've won. We think we're making very good progress, and as time's gone by, we're more and more optimistic that we'll get that license back very shortly.
That's really good news, and I know that Peru, it has a strong reputation for mining, but recently there have been tensions. Well, can you give us an overview of where you expect to see Bear Creek Mining moving forward in the next year?
Sure.
Are you hoping to put any of your projects into development, or are we still a little early for that to happen?
It's a little early yet. We're expecting the ESIA approval on Corani in the coming months, and then that leads up to a basket of construction type permits.
Okay.
We'll still be working on that, but the ESIA is the milestone because that shows you've got the environmental and the social side nailed down. The rest is just engineering. Then once we get those done, we've got some detailed engineering and of course financing for construction. The market is challenging in that regard right now, but this is a world-class project, and in fact, the 270 million ounces of silver make it one of the largest undeveloped silver projects in the world, and it's got incredibly low cash costs. It produces at under 50 cents an ounce cash costs because of the 40% of the project's cash comes from lead and zinc concentrates. Okay. So that is a very big positive because the outlook for lead and zinc is very good from the point of view of supply demand. And we believe that 30–40% of the project finance can come from offtake agreements with lead zinc smelters. So that's a very positive thing for us. The other thing, as I said, in these challenging times that we're very aware of is that this is a world-class asset. So we don't want to do a financing program that impinges on that.
Catherine, I noticed that one of your largest shareholders is Silver Wheaton. That must be a great bonus to have a company like that on board, especially with their deep knowledge and understanding of the silver market.
Absolutely. Silver Wheaton knows silver, and they know silver all over the world. They've looked at every project that contains silver on the planet, and they recognize in Corani a world-class asset. 270 million ounces of silver, low cash cost, and 20-year mine life. That's a very rare beast.
So you mentioned you're considering an offtake agreement. Are you considering any other types of financing?
Yes, one of the other sources of financing, which would generally be about 10% on this project, is financing with the equipment suppliers, Caterpillar, et cetera, and that's very common in our industry. The good thing about this project is there's not that much in outside infrastructure costs.
Okay.
So most of the the cost is on site. So equipment, rolling stock, mills, et cetera, that kind of financing is available.
Okay, and have you had any interest from Asian investors in any of your projects?
We have. Investor interest is a little bit low right now, given where we are in the cycle, but we have probably about 6 or 8 very knowledgeable, technically oriented investors, such as Silver Wheaton and some of the big investment companies have been very long-time loyal shareholders in our company.
Now, Catherine, you've been in the industry, the mining industry, and I believe you even came from a mining family.
That's right.
For years. So, and mainly within the junior space. What would you say is one of the biggest hurdles that junior mining companies have to face as they're bringing their project through the different stages of development?
Sure. I mean, there's the cycle. Sometimes money's easier to raise than others. Right now, it's harder to raise. I would say the best piece of advice I could give to anyone in the junior mining industry is, raise money when the markets are good and guard every penny as you move forward. Longevity is the key. I think the biggest problem in this cycle has been people.
Okay.
And so it's get the best people. Work with the best people on your social side, on your engineering, on your geology. experience counts in this business.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me today, Catherine, and best of luck with all of your projects in Peru.
Thank you so much, Amy. It's a pleasure.
This has been the Commodities Dig. I'm Amy Hogan.